Today we'll be performing rotations on the coordinate plane, and we'll be rotating geometric figures around the origin. So the point of rotation will be the origin. So we'll be going around the origin. But when we're referring to rotations, we call that about the origin. So we'll be rotating geometric figures about the origin. And we'll be going in two different directions. We can go clockwise, the way the clock goes, or we can go counterclockwise, backwards from the way, or counter to the way the clock rotates. So here we have a few examples of a rotation we can perform. And the point of the pre-image, if we start with an XY, this is what happens to the coordinates of that ordered pair when we perform this rotation. So one approach is to remember all these rules. But today we're going to do something a little simpler to remember to rotate these figures. So here's the coordinate grid, and if I start in quadrant 1 and I move to quadrant 2, that's a rotation of 90 degrees. If I start in quadrant 1 and I end up in quadrant 3, that's a rotation of 180 degrees. And it doesn't matter if I go counterclockwise or clockwise, I still end up 180 degrees is in quadrant 3. If I start in quadrant 1 and end up in quadrant 4, then I've either rotated this way, counterclockwise 270 degrees, or I've rotated this way 90 degrees clockwise. So the two things you'll be working with is whether you're going clockwise or counterclockwise, and then how many degrees. And every quadrant is 90 degrees. So move one quadrant is 90, two quadrants 180, three quadrants is 270. So here today we'll be rotating this little triangle SHC, and it's in the first quadrant 1, and then I'm going to rotate it to quadrant 2, and then rotate it to quadrant 3, and rotate it to quadrant 4. Now this is the trick part. I'm going to start in quadrant 1, and I'm going to have some coordinates, some ordered pairs, right? Some coordinates. But if I just simply take my paper then and rotate it 90 degrees, I'm in quadrant 2, then the coordinates, I just pretend that this is quadrant 2 now and write the numbers. So let's take a look at what I mean. So here I have the triangle SHC, and I need to rotate it 90 degrees, so that means go one quadrant, and counterclockwise, so I'm going to go this way. So I started with this figure, and I ended up there. Now to come up with my coordinates, all I did was rotate this figure like this, and then I labeled my coordinates with the new coordinates in coordinate 2, negative 5, 4, negative 5, 5, and negative 2, 4. So that's all there is to it. So if you turn your paper and just use the coordinates of the quadrant you're in, you'll be able to perform the rotation. So let's do another one. All right, so here I am in quadrant 1, and I'm going to go 180 degrees. Now, 180 degrees doesn't matter whether I say I'm going clockwise, or if I want to go 180 degrees counterclockwise, I'm still going to end up in quadrant 3. So that's what I did here. I rotated, I ended up in quadrant 3, and my new coordinates are easy to identify in the quadrant 3. And my last rotation is I want to get to quadrant 4. Well, I have two ways to do that. I can go 90 degrees clockwise, right? Or I can go, here, let's start at the beginning, or I can go 90, 180, 270, or I can go 270 degrees counterclockwise. So let's look at what that looks like. So I started here and moved my paper 3 times, and I ended up in quadrant 4. Or I moved it once clockwise and ended up in quadrant 4. Again, I do that, move my paper, and then I'm easily able to identify the coordinates.